The last thing I'd like to show is just running an entire copy of Linux in a container. So again, full copy of Linux with all of its processes, but these processes are running in a container. And instead of using the forwarding, what I'm going to do is use, oh, I have a typo. Yep. Desktop. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get a password. No. So what I'm doing is I'm running an entire copy of Ubuntu, a stripped down one, mind you, not a great one. You can run more stuff though, nothing with 3D rendering as of yet. In a Docker image, and actually what I'll do is I'll just connect to it via VNC. So there's a desktop, and the amount of memory this desktop is using is a couple hundred megs maybe 100 megs, not that much. And you can actually see that if you look over here, you can see it in my process list. So I've got a, let's see, do I have an extra copy of Xorg running? Yes, yeah, ref X. So here's the LXD, so I can see it in the outside area, but if I go inside the runtime environment, I see all these processes, but I don't actually see the processes from the parent. I can't see Apache and things like that. Yeah?
So do you have a normal init as bit 1 in that system?
Yep, but it says, oh, actually, that's the thing that's cool. Let me show you this. Ref init. So I am running 2 ints, one there and one there. 2 copies of int. One is running as the user Tim. Not something you're used to seeing. And if you pop over here, you go to the terminal, Xterm, the fonts are tiny, don't ask me to make them bigger. But I can confirm that, oh, actually in here, hit 1 is bash. Huh, okay, maybe that's not what I think it is. So it actually didn't run init. But every 10 seconds, you'll see that a new line will pop up in the logs. Let's see, 10 seconds. So you can see here now I did a Docker logs and 20 seconds have passed, so I had 2 log lines. So it's capturing all that output, but it's having to restart the service over and over because it keeps stopping on its own. And if I do Docker PS, you can see that this service, Sleepy, it's been up for less than a second. It was created 43 seconds ago. So it kept crashing and it kept restarting it. So the service has been managed for a long time, but it's only been running for a second. So that's about all I've got, and I'm way out of time. Does anybody have any questions? Want me to do something weird?
Do an INS mod inside the kernel?
Can't. Not unless you export the capabilities. You can do it. You can say, you can pass it a dash cap and then say, okay, you have the capability of inserting kernel modules. But, yeah, why would you do that?
What about LS mod?
LS mod. You're going to see the same module list, same kernel.
But you are allowed to see it.
Don't know. Let's see. Bin bash. Now let's go to a different one. Here, I'll go go to my super simple container. That was sandbox 1. Okay, so in here, don't have very many processes running, and so ls mod. And I see the process, the modules. But let's say rm mod, or mod pro PC speaker, I think it is. Something, yeah.
Yep.
Error. Couldn't open that file. Oh, actually, it's erroring out because it can't find it. Let's just get rid of mod. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't want to search for modules while you're watching, but I assure you, you won't be able to insert it. Any other things?
Is it possible to make these containers entirely memory resident?
Is it possible to make containers entirely memory resonant? Yes, it is. That's just a matter of making sure all the disk is memory backed. And there are environments, I have heard of Jenkins workflows where it's like, we want this workflow to run really fast and we need it for 3 seconds because we just need to prove that this thing works and then throw it out. Anybody here taking computer science? CS classes programmed? Yeah, okay. Don't you find it funny when you got your degree, you work on it, you stay up late till 4 in the morning getting the code to compile and work, and as soon as it works, it's like, not interested, moving on. It's like, moment, it's functional. It's like, okay, throw it out, move on. Well, you can do that with Jenkins and memory-based systems. Any other questions? Yep, Paul?
How do you deal with updates?
So you can update the underlying image and then kick off, and then the other ones will see it. You probably need to kick off restarts.
So you do the underlying image.
And then all the other images that are inheriting from that will see those updates. Now, if those images have shadowed the updates, you could hide an update, but why would you do that? And frankly, there's a fairly low risk of that, especially if you're using packages. Because if you're in one of the upper layers and you say get update, it'll say, hey, you already have it.
Can you give a container a block device instead of a file system?
Yes, I think so. Well, what you can do, so one thing you can do is pass hardware devices directly into containers. So there is a -- device. And so I haven't played around with it. I wanted to give a demo of it, but it's 9:20. Needless to say, I ran out of time. And the namespaces and the C group stuff, it seemed interesting, right? So I thought I'd put more time in that, less in the device stuff. But that I think you could probably do things like, hey, this network card, I'm not using it for anything, give it to the container.
But like an LVM logical volume.
Yeah, totally.
Appearing as SDA1 in a Docker container, that sort of
So basing it off of a block device. You really want to recreate LXC.
I don't necessarily say it's useful. I just
Yeah,
wondered if you
I think I've read stuff about that. I know you can pass it in with a device flag, and there's lots of writing about passing in block devices. For example, some databases can interact directly with block devices and direct I/O so that they go faster. With that, you can feed your database container with a block device, say. But I haven't done it, so your mileage may vary.